Hey, it's Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love, and I'm coming to you tonight to bring you and Make It Monday. It's April the 19th. I'm going to give a few seconds to get connected here, and we'll check and make sure that it's transmitting. Always so many things to check, right? I need a technical director, right? Okay. There we go. All right. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. It was very gorgeous here. Had a little bit of rain this afternoon, but it cleared off. Whoops. Where am I going? Who knows? I am done with my taxes. I had my appointment this afternoon, and I came back and I was so excited to work on something else, and I almost forgot to get ready for my video tonight, but I think I'm ready. So let's see if we are. All right. It says it's working. Let me just check. Okay. It's just not coming up here. Some days, I know it's live, but for some reason I cannot get it on my phone. Let me try again. Okay. I apologize. I really need to, okay. Well, there's a post, but it doesn't say live. That is really strange. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just go for it. Let's get started, and then I will, I swear it says live, so I'm hoping you're here, and I'm just not sure why it won't show up on my phone. It's really weird. Oh, I had to hit see all. They must have changed something, because of course it looks different. Okay, you guys are here. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about that. I just hate not being able to see if it's working. So, Linda, Talara, Laura, thank you for being here. My mom is doing great. I have to tell you, I think she was a little worried the day after I took her. We had an early morning appointment, and if I didn't tell you, she just had a, yeah, cataract done. Couldn't think of the name of it. Anyways, the next day she was like, we need to make sure we ask, because I keep seeing flashing lights in my eye. And so we asked, and the lady said, I hear my patients say that all the time. She said the lens just moves around a little bit, and as soon as it gets seated in there, it won't do that anymore. It was that evening my dad called me. I was home, I had my grandson, was working on stuff for my team event, and my dad called me and he said, guess what? He said, we're out to dinner and mother can see perfectly with that eye. So, hallelujah. I sent them to the Dollar Tree to get reading glasses, because that's the only thing she couldn't see. So she can't wait to get her new glasses and get new prescription for her other eye. So yeah. All right. Hey, Sylvia. Hey, let's see. I think I said hi to everybody that I see so far. So, I did do the drawing, and the winner for last week's video drawing was Karen Bound. And Karen, I promised you guys that it was going to be something from the new catalog. And let me see if I can get these. And it is the new Genial Gems. They're light green and almost clear, maybe with a slightly pink tint. I'm guessing they're probably in the new in colors. It does not say. But anyways, they're like our glitter gems. They have lots of gold glitter in them, so they're really pretty. So, Karen, that will be coming to you. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing. I really appreciate it. I know somebody shared, because I saw it said share, but when I clicked on it, it said that it wasn't. It was to a private group, so I couldn't see who did that, and I couldn't find anybody that posted that they did that. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, because I do double post that, I will post this once the live is over. I just ask you to give me a thumbs up or comment, because that's helpful for me there as well. Hey, Debbie, welcome. Yes, I love glitter too, Talara. All right, so I have a lot to show you tonight. First of all, I just want to give you a little reminder, and I'm going to send an email out as well, and probably a text if you're on the text messaging. If you're not, let me know. I can put you on that. About the class, the special on steroids class that I'm doing with Barbara. And we are so excited about it. We got together last Tuesday, and we have everything mapped out for the event. It's going to be held on May 8th, I believe is the date, but you can access it at any time. So it's not like you have to be there at that time. All of the recordings and everything will go up that day, that morning at 10 o'clock. Let me just tell you really quickly again and show you what the class involves. Let's see, I need to flip over to the screen. Okay, so it involves the medley with the flowering cactus, the stamp set and the dies. It includes, let me just scoot these out of the way. It includes all of the things that you see here, lots of designer paper, and we have used a ton of it for the projects, let me just say. And the 2 rolls of cording, and these cute little felt flowers that you just pop out and glue dot onto your, and they're all different sizes, they're stitched in different ways. There's Calypso Coral and the Highland Heather. So that's the medley, but what we're doing in this class is we are providing the projects for you. So there will be a cute little bag, a cute little box, which it looks like I've lost my my flower. I've been throwing this stuff around a lot. And oops. And inside of this box are 6 cards. Okay, so you'll have the supplies to make all 6 of those cards, and then 2 additional cards. Okay, and we will be including a tutorial for this as well as the video. All the videos. There will be a special guest video. She will be demonstrating some really fun. She's so creative. She designs her own fabric, and I'm so excited to have her join us. I'm going to just move this away now, and I had my stuff ready to show you what I'm going to show tonight. I think it's $80, Denise, because everything that you get, the medley is $70. And so with all the supplies plus an extra gift in there, and that includes shipping if it's necessary to ship to you. Okay, so it is well worth it for the whole event. There will be door prizes and more. So it's Talara. It is the paper pumpkin mini paper pumpkin box. So I did not make it, I bought it. It's Stampin' Up's mini paper pumpkin boxes, and it fits our note card size cards. All right, so tonight I want to show you some cards. I saw this idea from Linda Dalkey from Australia, and she's so talented. And these 3 sets, I'm so sad to see going, because if you come to my classes, you know that we've used these quite a bit. I did a whole class on this, on the My Meadow one. We use Snowfront quite a bit at Christmas time. So I do want to, I want to show all of these tonight in some way or form. I'm going to do 3 cards. I'm using the sayings from Vine Design. I was just looking for some nice simple sayings. So we're going to be using that. And yeah, this is Connie's, my uplines design from when she hit her $1 million. A couple years ago. It stayed in the catalog for quite a while. So anyways, so besides these sets, I am definitely going to be using our watercolor brush, the wider tip one. I'm using the spritzing tool, and they all have water in them. I'm throwing in one of our new ink colors, the Soft Succulent. I think that's the only one that I'm using tonight. So let's get started. I'm actually going to, I like that Soft Succulent is just a tad darker, a deeper color than the Mint Macaron. But for my background, I'm going to start with the Mint Macaron, and I've squeezed the lid. This is an old one, so I'm squeezing the front. With the new style, you squeeze it from the back. And got my color in the lid there. I'm going to just put some scrap paper down here. And I am using our Fluid 100 watercolor paper for all of these. You don't have to use that, but I've done it with and without, and I love the look with. So I'm going to start out by just squeezing my brush a little bit, making sure that the water's good and coming out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of force, and that's why I like to do that before I get my ink on there. So I'm going to just wet this top here. We're just going to brush on a little bit of color here. So I'm going to just work some water into this. Okay. Now that's probably good. We can come back and add some more of that if we need to. I'm going to just leave that lay there. The next thing that I want to do, and I'm going to be using my spritzer. I think I wanted to go back and look and see when I last demonstrated. I just did it a little bit ago with watercolor and spritzing. So I'm going to be inking my stamps, but I'm also going to be spritzing them. So I'm going to just lay this aside for a second. I want to come in with a blue, and I like a dark blue. So I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to ink the mountain from all of the ones I'm using so far in this first card are going to be from Snowfront. Okay. I love how they go together, but they also are nice by themselves. So, you know, if you can only afford one, then look at which one might have the most of what you want. I'm also going to spritz the stamp because I really want this color to run a little bit. My paper's just a tad more wet than I wanted, but and then the next one I'm going to do is this little guy, and this actually has a swoosh. And then it has the trees. So I want the swoosh in a different color than the trees. So I'm going to take my Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to try to get the edge. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'm just trying to get the edge of the stamp. And now I'm going to come in with Soft Succulent. I want that for my trees. And I'm just going to ink along the edge here. And again, oh, that's looking really bad. And of course I didn't bring any paper. Yes, I did. I have a tissue here. It's already got ink on it. I don't want my water to be quite that runny. Okay. Lesson learned. Let's just spritz the stamp. Okay. And that's just going to go here. I got my mountains over just a tad far. All right, this is gonna be the really watercolory version of this card, okay? And I'm gonna show you what you can do if you don't like that, okay? So just let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna add another swoosh, and I'm going to get this one right here. Oops. And let me find another stamp. And I'm going to do that in my light blue. It didn't show up very much on here. I think it probably needs inked. So let's try this again. I want to get some trees in here, but I just want to give a little base for that. And there was another. Where did I put that stamp? Oh, no, I didn't use it. Oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. It's another little swoosh. There's a lot of swooshes in here. I don't know what else you call them. If you guys think of a better name for that, what I can call these. that would be wonderful. And then I'm just going to stick this down here. Okay, now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the single little tree, and I'm going to do that in this soft succulent. Like I said, you can see it's a little bit, well, it's not much darker than the watercolor version. And I'm just spritzing it again. I tend to hold it back from my project just so that I don't get spray everywhere, but then you can't see what I'm doing. And I am going to have to ink each one, so I am going to just wipe it off in between putting it back in my pad because I don't want to put a bunch of water on there. I didn't hit that very well, so that really was only one spray, by the way. Okay, so I got 2 trees there. Now what I'm going to do, let me just wash these real quick, and I might just heat dry that a tad. I'm happy with everything except for how the blue ran up into my top there, and I think it's going to be okay, but that's not what I wanted it to do. All right. Now I can go back and use these. I didn't get that very clean, but I think I got most of the water from the stamp. I want to come in and ink this again, and this time I don't want to put as much water on it. This is getting dry, still a little bit wet. Let me just heat set this a little bit. I think I have my tool plugged in here. Let me see. Nope, I do not, but I will in a second. Who knows? You might need a heat gun. Sorry, it's going to be loud for a second. I don't need it to be completely dry. I just don't want it sopping, and it feels pretty good there. So again, I'm going to just give this a little more ink. I just want the trees, and I'm going to spritz them because I do want them to run a tad. But because I have this a little bit drier, I think that it should not run quite as much. There we go. You see how the really watery base gave it a really cool look underneath. And now we have it a little drier. And then next, I'm going to redo the mountains as well, if I can find them. And we did those in Misty Moonlight. Again, a little spritz of water. And I'm going to go over right where we were before. Oh, I like it. What do you guys think? Isn't that coming out really cool? Even though we have I think it's a volcano, right? Because I'm going to Maui soon, so I think it's a passing rain cloud. There you go. Oh. Okay. All right, so Sylvia is asking, where did you get the info from Linda? And Sylvia, I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay, one more. We got to do these trees. You see how they're sort of washed out a little bit, and now that it's dried a little bit, we're going to add another tree or 2. Again, I'm spritzing because I want it to still run a little. Wipe it off before you go back in your pad. There we go. All right. I think I'm going to leave that because it's just a swoosh, so I don't want that to be too much darker than it is, or what do I want to say, more evident. I want to come back in now that this is dry, and I'm going to add my deer. I don't want them to be runny, so we are going to do them in early espresso. And I'm just going to sit them on the swoosh. There we go. Aren't they so cute? I think they're my favorite part of this set. All right, now I just need a greeting, and yes, we've got the passing rain cloud. Well, it's good because we didn't put a sun in the sky, so yeah. I'm going to use, you know, I think with sympathy might be good for the rain cloud one, don't you think? So I'm just going to ink that in early espresso and try to get this straight. I pulled out the thinking of you or the with sympathy, and you could do either of those. Oh, I got an edge. This is the first time I used this stamp. Figures. I should have tested it before I tried it on video. Well, that's a bummer. Not sure how to get rid of that. I'm seeing another swoosh coming. What do you think? I don't have my, I don't think I brought in the other watercolor painters, or water painters. And I don't think I can make that work with this one, but I'm going to just try here and see if we can get a little bit more water out here. These things are really, you really have to be strong to... What do you think? Is that terrible? See, the deer pooped in the swoosh. I don't know. I don't hate it. Let's just say I don't hate it yet. All right. Now, I'm going to let that sit, and we will put that on a card then as soon as that's dry. I'm not going to take more time to blow dry that. I want to start on another one. So this one, this is a really simple one. And we're going to use, Connie's stamp set for this one. Most of the stamp set. So we've got mountains here as well, and we could stay with the same mountains, but I would prefer to use all of one set and then maybe mix or match a few things. Let me, where can I lay my stamps, right? Now this one you can see is very, very heavily used. Like I said, it's been around a long time, so it is photopolymer, but it's very used, very loved. These stamps are still a little bit wet because of all the water we sprayed on them. Let me just wipe that off on my skirt. Excuse me, so that everything sticks good. Okay, so we want the mountains. I want this piece, which could be a swooshy mountain, or it could be like a shadow on the water, and we're going to use it as part of the water. And then there is a little border of trees that's really cool. So I think we'll use that one. And I'm going to use the sunshine on this one. It doesn't look like a sunshine, but trust me, I think it's clean and is not going to give us any color. I'm going to wipe it off just to make sure. All right, so I think that's all I need for that one. Just going to lay these aside. Okay, so let's start with the darker blue again. We're going to do the mountains. You know, I think I want to do a little swoosh of color first, just a little brush of color, because it's a little hard to add that afterwards since everything will be stamped. Now, there's not much ink in here, and I squeezed this pretty hard, but I am going to try squeezing this pad again. Like I said, I think that it needs re-inked, and I could have brought a re-inker. That's always nice when you're watercoloring. I'm going to squeeze and get just a little bit more water in here. I want this to be fairly light. I don't want it to show up a lot, but I'm going to stay near the edges. And then I'm going to pull some color down. I am going to put a sun in the sky, so I don't want it to all be completely blue. Okay, I'm going to save a little bit of that, and I'll come back later and add some more. I got all these pads open here just because when you're watercoloring, you got to be lots of messy. Okay, again, we're going to spritz. You see I'm holding it on the paper just a little bit. Wipe that off. I need a little bit more for another mountain. And I'm just holding it for a couple seconds till that ink and water have time to transfer. Okay. Just wipe that off here a little bit. Okay, now let me do a splatter of water, but I think that's going to be okay too. Okay, we're going to do green for the water, and I actually think I'm going to use mint macaron because I don't want it to be like terribly green, and I might just add a touch of blue to the top of it. Since that blue is really light in color, and I'm going to get my green on here, so I've got blue and then I've got green, and I'm going to give a little spritz again, and that's going to go right up next to the mountains. See how that color blended? And then I'm going to do blue again, and then green, and a little spritz. And we'll go up here again. How's that? Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to wash this, and I'm going to have a sun here, so I want it to shine down on here. So I just want to clean this a little bit. I want to get all of those colors off because I'd like to add a little bit of yellow, and I need to add that first. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow on here, and then I'm going to stamp it off, okay, so that I don't have a ton of yellow on there. I'm going to actually spritz that and stamp it. I'm just turning this now the opposite direction. And now I'm going to wash it again. I'm going to go back into my same green color. And again, I'm going to stamp that one off a little bit. And we're going to get a little more green in here on top of this. And now I'm just going to spritz a little and let that just blend into each other. In fact, I might just help it a little because we have some blue on here, and I might just help it and let it blend a little bit more. And I'm going to come in with a little bit more blue here, and we want to just finish filling this. Oh, it looks like I smeared that. I don't know when I did that. I guess you would know because you're watching me. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I realize I'm getting out of the screen here. Yell at me. Hey, Karen. Hey, Barbara. Welcome. Hey, Denise. I'm not sure if I missed anybody else. Sorry. Hey, Karen. Just wanted to let you know you missed the beginning. So you missed that. You won. You won the drawing this week. Okay. Now, we're going to cover this. We're going to put some trees there. So don't worry about that. That's going to be... we've got some trees before the water here, so let's get I don't know, these trees are a little bit big. I feel like, let me see if there's any smaller trees in any of these sets. Yeah, well, we have that little pine tree that we used from here, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's going to be the kind. I like the twigginess of these. So maybe almost went in the wrong color there. Put some over here. We might have to have some in between here where our land is, because otherwise our water's going to have to go across there, right? So we sort of need a barrier there. It's really tricky sometimes figuring out what you want to do here. So the trees are just a little bit big for what I want, and I feel like I can't put that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a swoosh, okay? Swooshes fix everything. Let's get this swoosh from the previous set, right? Because it's a nice little swoosh. And we're going to do this color right here. Let's see, we did the blue and a little little bit of green. I'm trying to think which green I used. This one, I think. And a lot of water. And I'm just going to sort of fill that in there so that it brings it up to the mountains a little bit. There. How's that? We swooshed that in. Okay, that's better. We had to have those mountains. We can't have a barrier there between, or a hole between the mountains. So, okay, that's good. I like that better. All right, got to get that sun in there, but I think I still want a little more blue in here before I do that. So let me just get a little more blue color and just sort of dry brush it in here a little bit. Just bring it to the center. I don't want to go over the sun too much. And where's our sun? That's terrible. It makes me want to sing Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. A little bit of water. I don't want too much water. And he's right there because he's shining on the water. There we go. The water's looking a little bit muddy. I think it will, as it dries, it will get a little bit better. And we'll let that one dry. I'm going to put the saying on after it's dry just to be safe. Feel like I'm a little safer. Okay, guys, I have one more to show you. All right, let me just wash these real quick. We'll get them off the table. I'm just trying to stay with some of the same colors so that it's really easy to do. So we have 2, 4, 6 colors here. We have 2 greens, 2 blues, a brown, and a yellow. And somebody just said, you know, when you look at the in colors, it's like, really, did we need another green? But sometimes you really tend to need different hues of colors, especially greens and browns and blues. And yeah, I don't know. I think, what do we have? 40 colors plus 8 in color, 10 in colors. So 50 colors, and it still doesn't seem like enough, right? Okay, I'm going to use this one next. We are going to use the Twiggy Tree. We're going to use the Cabana. We're going to use some grass, and we're going to use, we're going to create some water and skies with this. So let me grab a couple of these. I think I'm going to use this big long one as well. I wish there was a way to talk. I guess a Zoom call would work, but where you guys could yell at me and say, "Hey, like, I can't see that. Get in the camera." Karen, you asked what stamp set this is, and I'm guessing you meant the one I was working with last was this one, Connie's stamp set, Waterfront. I am showing the 3 watercolor type designs that are going out. I'm showing those tonight. Okay, Twiggy Trees. Need a block for that. I need, it's so hard to see what these designs are. I think I want this little flowery thing here. And did I get the grass? Grass right here. Actually, I'm going to use this one. Okay, what else do I need? I think that's it. I usually have all my blocks ready, but because we're switching out and this takes so many blocks, I just didn't have, I just wasn't able to have everything on. But now we have most of what I need. I'll grab if there's anything else. I'm keeping them all in separate piles because I have to put them all back in their cases, so that's going to be fun. Let's flip that over so we don't have that mess. And we're going to do this landscape style. I'm going to start again by creating my wet, my watercolor background. And because that blue is so dry and I'm not getting enough, I'm going to start with Misty Moonlight. I'm going to try to not get too much. I'm trying to keep my camera zoomed in so you can see better. But the problem is then I forget that I need to make sure everything's in the screen. So because this is such a dark ink, I have to make sure I have lots of water in order to get, to get it to not be, not take up the whole paper. So I think that I'm going to just give it a little squirt first so that the color runs well. And I'm going to hold it up so that it can run down and give me sort of a bit of a runny look. And I'm just sort of filling in where I know I'm going to have some extra space, okay? And I'm going to just grab some of the darker color and just drop that on there. Okay, get a little bit more water on here and get that running a little bit. I'm going to have to let it dry before I can stamp it, but what do I do with my tissue? Okay. All right, again, I'm going to just heat this a little bit now that it's run like I like it. I don't want it completely dry. I just want to take away a little bit of that wetness so that I can stamp and don't have it too watery. Okay, I know you can't see it from where you're at, but the shine has gone away, so I know that it's not as wet as it was. And I want to just come in here now, and I'm going to ink this blue. Just going to stamp that off a little and then spritz it, just to get my lighter color. Back in, actually I don't want that one, I want the bigger one. I'll come back in here with the same one, the bigger one. This one I don't think I want it terribly dark, so I'm going to do the same thing with that and just get some color spritzed on there and just meet the two of these up here a little bit. And where's this one? I'm going to redo this one a little bit. I don't want much color, but I want it nice and wet. And I just want to fill that in there. Okay. Alright, I'm going to let that dry just a second. I might want this blue, so I'm going to just leave that in there. I'm not going to close it. It's very, very wet. I don't want that to get in my pad. I think I'm done with this color. Alright. Now, I am ready to stamp my cabana, and he's going to just be an early espresso. Looks like there's a hair on there. And again, this one's going to get squirted a little. And my cabana is going to be sitting right here. Ooh, he's good and brown, huh? And a little bit runny. I probably could have gone soft suede with that, but okay, now I'm ready to do my grass, and I'm going to just fill in a couple grasses there, and then I'm going to get, let's see, that's not my darkest color, this is my dark color. I'm looking at this and looking at the pad, I guess you can't even tell from there, but it looked greener. Sort of like the grass is greener, right? Okay, there we go. And again, we'll get some on the other side. And we're going to do the same here like we did before. We'll let that run a little bit, and then once that dries, we'll come back and we'll add some some more solid image. Okay, now I do want to get my trees in here. I've saved a space for them. So we're going to do them in early espresso. And I think I'm going to just do them without spritzing. This is still a little bit wet, so I think, and I'm going to just stamp it twice to get some trees behind. And then we're going to put a little more grass in there. And let me see what other stamps we have. I think this one might be nice to add some green behind the base of the trees. I'm running out of blocks now. Okay. So yes, this is the Pierce mat that I'm using because everything I'm using is photopolymer, Linda. So I'm using this. I do have a glass table that I work on in my stamp room. Looks like I got that a little wet. And I don't have to use the Pierce mat with that because it's a completely solid surface. But here on these tables, and I actually have a piece of wood here that's not completely solid or smooth. And so that gives my stamp nice even pressure because the photopolymers do not have that foam on like our just stamping that over top of the bottom of the trees there to get some grassy look. And I'm going to come back in and maybe just put a few blades of grass in here. And okay, and this might be dry enough. I'm not sure if it's dry enough to come back and add that. It's pretty wet yet. All right, now we need some tops for the trees, and I'm gonna try some yellow, but with that blue it's gonna make it look green, but we'll see what we can come up with here. That's still really wet, so I'm gonna just try it's not looking terrible. We'll see what happens when it blends all together, right? Okay, and then we don't have a sun in this set, so I'm going to come back and use the sun from the previous set, from the My Meadow set, and we'll just put a sun up here and this blue sky. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, let's dry that a little bit so that we can get this finished. Let me put some more here in here. Okay, now I really am not sure that I can do anything with the cabana. It's very spidery looking. Probably shouldn't have wet that quite so much, because if I go back over, it's a very solid image. So I might just ink. I'm going to try something. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? It's worth a try. I'm going to just wipe the ink off the roof a little bit. I'm not going to completely wipe it off, but I'm going to blend it in so that it's not real dark. It's not great to do with a tissue because you're going to have fuzzies everywhere, but since I don't have much ink on there, I think it won't be terrible. Alright, and I'm just going to stamp that right on top of here. I'm going to try to line it up. Hopefully I can get that good. Okay, that helps. That I can see my lines in there better. I'm not sure if you can see a difference, but it strengthens the thinner lines of the cabana there. That's a little bit better. And now I want to come in with the grass again, And I really want this darker. Now that we dried it, it should come out a little bit darker, but leaving that wispy look behind it. Isn't that cool? Okay. And that one's fairly dry, but let's set it aside just a little bit. We'll go ahead and finish these two. Let me just dry this. It's a little bit uneven there. Did you see how the curves changed as I flipped that over? Now I have almost a completely flat piece because I was able to get all of it to dry evenly by flipping that over and heating it on the other side. So if you ever have trouble with your watercolor paper, try that. I'm going to use the Thinking of You now. I'm going to ink that in early espresso, and I want to run it right along here. And oh, I did use that one before, so I think it's okay. And just some firm, even pressure. There we go. All right. Now, this one I'm going to, well, most of them I'm just going to put on a white piece of cardstock. And I have my white cardstock already cut, 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm just going to layer that right there. You could put, for one of them I'll show you, you can put a layer of cardstock behind, or you can just do white on white and let your watercolor design, that started tearing there, so I just ran it backwards so that it would come back off of the thing. And then of course I have to get my spot again. I am going to just come over it here so that it stays down whenever I lay it on my card. And I'm just going to get that centered. There we go. How cute is that? It may look like a child did it, but yeah, you know I worked really hard at it, right? Okay, here's the one that I made the mistake here, and I'm still not hating that. I love how the mountains ran here. It just looks really mystical, maybe. This one, I think, I'm going to put, since we use Misty Moonlight here, I'm going to actually put a piece of Misty Moonlight. I had a piece in there that was already embossed with the sparkle embossing folder, so I'm going to use that. This paper is, it's a probably like a pressed, like a handmade paper, so it is very fragile in grabbing with the ink grabbing it. So I do try to run it slowly so that I don't catch it, but occasionally it does, and you don't want to take it too far. So if you're going slow, at least you can catch it before you rip the whole card apart. Okay, so let me get this one folded. I probably should have folded these before I had ink all over my hands, right? Now I'm quite inky, but hopefully not terrible. Alright, no, Talara, these are not cards we're making in club. Are you relieved? No, these will all be gone before we have club next, and class next. So, unfortunately, yeah, we'll be using new stuff from the new catalog. How cool is that? Alright, I tore that there, so I'm going to just put glue beside it. I may have to add a little bit of green glue just to make sure that stays down there. I definitely like my cards with a little bit of color around them. Like I said, this isn't terrible, but that that bit of blue there just really helps set it off a little bit more. Okay, let's do the last one. The one that I probably like the least, but I think that we need to get a saying on here, and let's go ahead and just do the thinking of you again. Since I know this with sympathy needs to be trimmed before I can play with that again. And so what I brought for this one, I wanted to background it with some designer paper. This is some of our DSP from the neutrals colors that's going out. So I was trying to decide, I wasn't sure which color I would like best, but I think that I like that one. And then I need to decide which card base it will go on. And I think that this one, I think it has to be this one. I wish that was just a little bit darker, but I just need to trim this down a little bit. This piece, I did, when I cut these papers, let me show you. This is a full piece of the watercolor paper. So I try to save, to make the most of it. I had another piece here. So I cut it in half, which is 3.5. And then I cut a little bit off the edge to make it 3.5 by 5, or 4 3/4. So that it's the exact size that I need to fit on our regular size card. And let's see, so I'm going to cut this 4 by 5 1/4. Oh no, the blade is missing. Now go figure. Oh my goodness, I wonder where it got to. It was in my bag and I just pulled it out of my bag from class. So all right, I'm just going to make a mark here and cut it. Oh my, I've never had that do that before. All right, let me just see if I can cut on the line. And don't look, yes, I'm cutting with my ribbon scissors, because that's the only thing that seems to be in here. Okay. Wow, how crazy is that? I feel like a blue would have been good behind here, but then it would have maybe been too much blue. So let's see how this goes. Here, it's tearing again. I might just be better to use green glue on this watercolor paper. That's the second time on one piece, so I think that's enough tries, right? Tried to give it a chance, but all right, this is going to go on this designer paper, and then I can glue with this, except I got to get it started now. All right, and we'll put that on here. This is gray granite, I believe, for our backgrounds. So yeah, least favorite. Let me get rid of these pads here so I can lay them out. Whoops, got stamps everywhere. So which is your favorite? I'm really still loving this one. It looks like a cliff there that the deer are standing on. It's crazy, but it's probably like the worst happened to that one, other than this cabana here. But anyways, so which is your favorite? I don't have any Karen, but I would love to have put an early espresso behind that, behind the blue before the designer paper. Yeah. So Debbie likes the middle one. Yeah, me too. So I will actually, if I'm gonna do that, I probably need to do it before that glue is completely dry, and it might be too late because that designer or this watercolor paper is very porous. It's too late to try that, but yeah, I'll see what I can do, guys, and add a little bit of brown around there and see how that looks. I like that idea. Colleen likes the middle one. Linda likes the middle one. Okay. Barbara, I guess you're saying that the middle one's your favorite. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was helpful. I hope you got a few tips and that you can now go play with your... Yeah, I'm brave, all right, or crazy. Oh. All right, guys. You guys are wonderful. I love stamping with you. Thank you for letting me come and play with you in your stamp room. And have a good night. Go and stamp, or go to bed and stamp tomorrow. Whatever works for you. All right. Take care. God bless.